There are three main reasons why I'm so focused on the overscrolling problem. And the first is that we need to work together these days. The pace of society and what's going on today, we've never needed to work together more than we do today. And the simple reality is that these technologies that we use every day are driving a splitting mall through society. They didn't create the crack. The crack was already there, or there's many cracks. Um, but it's certainly exploiting them, and it's causing those divisions to go deeper and deeper and deeper. And again, like, there's so much that we agree on as human beings that all these tools are just confusing us and getting us to focus on the wrong things. When if we just got together and agreed on the right things to focus on, we could make real change happen. And so it's really important for me to get people out of these over scrolling habits so that there is the opportunity for them to work together in the future. Not that they have to, but just right now, there's just there's no real structure or framework for it, like there has been in the past with the community that we've built in the past. Now with the digital community, these relationships and connections are so flimsy digitally. I mean, we don't even call them social networks anymore. We call them social media platforms because that's the reality of what they are. Um, the connection needs to be built in person, and the only way we can do that is if we set our phones down. The second thing, and this sort of ties into the first, but the second thing is I'm a parent of two little kids. They're turning 5 and 7 here in August, and I'm scared. I'm scared we're going to lose a generation if we haven't already. Um, I'm hopeful that some new generation's going to see what's happening with these digital tools and reject technology altogether. But that's a real, somewhat naive thing, just knowing how addictive these technologies are. I've been to restaurants where it's a family of four, every one of them's on their phone. And some kids are littler than my kids, and I've given my kids tablets, and we go on long car rides and they use their devices, but for the most part we don't let them use it at home. They still watch Netflix and things like that, and that's still a problem. I still classify some of that activity as um, scrolling, but for the most part we're trying to give our kids a good model to look at when it comes to using their phones. And that ain't easy. That's incredibly hard, but I don't want them to grow up with their head buried in their phone like I've been in the past, and still am sometimes. And they notice that. And right now, my almost 7 year old, she's asking, when do I get my phone? And it's like, oh my gosh, you're 7 years old. I had to buy my first cell phone um, when I graduated high school. And it's crazy how far it's come. And I know a lot of teachers, people in the teaching profession, and the way they talk about kids in their classes and they have their phones, it's just wild. Um, it scares me. It just really scares me. These kids aren't just not getting taught the skills they need. So if I can help some people um, with the skills they need to handle these devices, that would be huge, because I want my kids to grow up and be effective members of society. I want them to be happy, and I want them to chase their dreams, the same thing that everybody wants for their kids. But I see the phone as a true barrier to those goals. Sorry, I got two cats fighting here. Um, and the last thing is as bad as the technology is, there's never been so much opportunity out there for an individual to make something for themselves. I grew up on the internet, promise of huge opportunity, and it was there. I built websites in GeoCities. I wrote them in Notepad. My social networks were AOL Instant Messenger, ICQ, IRC. It took me a day to download an MP3, and I listened to it because it took me a day to download it. Now look, I can get anything I want instantly. I could listen to any song I want instantly. I can watch any movie I want instantly, any TV show I want instantly. Honestly, I can see what all my friends are thinking right now if they're on social networks. And that thought is clouding what's really there. Is it was hard. The opportunity was there in the early internet, but it was hard to build. It took a lot to build. But that technology, all those creators, all people making frameworks and things, there's so much you can do with almost no cost, or in some cases, no cost at all. This YouTube channel is a perfect example. This didn't cost me anything other than the phone that I'm using to record and the time. But I have access to millions of people to create what I want to create, help them, and maybe get some benefit out of it for me on the tail end. Um, and I think the first step is you gotta reclaim that time. These that opportunity's there, but these algorithms are shackling us. They're stealing our attention. They're trying to get us to buy stuff, and they're making us more anxious as a populace. And none of that's bad, or none of that's good. Sorry, it's all bad. All of it's bad. Let me reiterate that. Um, and so, in that pathway, or with those three things, if any of that you're like, that sounds good to me, well, okay, we need to work together. That's what I'm doing here. I'm building a community of people who are battling their overscrolling, and myself included. I'm in a very better place right now than I used to be, but I still deal with it, and I could use some help sometimes, and I want to help other people. Modeling good behavior, that's all I'm trying to do on this channel. Is I'm trying to share, this is what I do, and hopefully other people share what they do, and I can explore that, and I can talk about my approach and how I think about the world. That's what I want to give. Um, and then as far as the opportunity goes, hopefully by me facilitating those first two things, it gives you, the viewer, the opportunity to go forward and figure out your own next steps in life with all the opportunity that is really out there in the world, if we just could see it and we had the time and attention to chase it. So if that sounds good to you, subscribe to the channel. Really will help me out and help you out too along the way. This isn't self-serving. I want to help you. Um, if you have an issue with overscrolling, if you know of anyone, share the channel with them. Let me know. Thank you. Appreciate you.